I think, first of all, bring everyone together from different parts of the world
Hmm.
and in different walks of life and in one spot is one of the hardest things you can do. And
Right.
not just with timing, but with also with people's schedules and travel and all of it. And then put together an event such as this. India Diaspora just has done a spectacular job. Congratulations to Mr. and Sanjeev, the whole team, as to what they've been able to pull together here and give everyone an opportunity to be able to share thoughts and ideas and to be able to share what they can do together and collectively how we can help India and Indians all over the world grow at a rapid pace. Well, five. I went about 50 some years ago, but at the end of the day, I've been traveling so much because
Right.
of my sport,
Right.
and thereafter also because of television work and things like that. But
Right.
at the end of the day, I think we made giant strides as a country of immigrants from our part of the world. And I think we made such a splash, I think, especially in a country like the US, where somewhat close to 4 million uh, non resident Indians live and work
Mhm.
in the US and have ended up becoming the richest ethnic minority in the United States. And that's a unique achievement. And I think a lot of people are emulating and trying to follow the Indian immigrant story. Well, it's basically the ability to commit. You have to commit,
Right.
and there's an element of risk factor that is unheard of in any other business when
Right.
it comes to sports,
Right.
because you can be at it for a long, long, long period of time, and you still not necessarily will make it anywhere close to being on a world tour. So I think when you look at sports, it is probably the highest risk startup you can be in, and which is why people tend to back away from it a little bit more. But I do believe that the culture has been changing over the last 30, 40 years since the time I played on the tour, and more people are getting into it. Indian Americans in the United States are actually doing really well, especially in our sport of tennis.
Right.
We have two boys now who are doing unbelievably well. There are girls coming along in golf and tennis that are doing great. These are the next generation of Indian kids who have actually performed exceedingly well. We've had an Indian kid from New Jersey who went on to win Junior Wimbledon. We have another boy from Carmel, Indiana, who was actually did really well at the Australian Open. He played a four-set match against Djokovic. So I think when you look at kids like that, it gives everyone a great feeling of not just hope, but also an area where you believe that kids like this can be followed. Because it's very hard to foresee an ROI.
Okay.
It's very difficult because business is business. You get into startups, you bet on 8, 10, 12 startups, and you invest across the board. And it's a question of what does better than what. And in a sport, I think it's very important to back also individuals with corporate sponsorships and things like that, so he or she can actually take us to the next level. Now, there's no guarantee to it, which is why the history, the analysis, the research, the stats, and all of the things that goes into sport doesn't necessarily pan out at the end
Right.
of the day,
Right.
like we would do when we were investing in a tech business or in software or in medicine or in pharmaceuticals or any of that nature. You know what's being created over a period of time, and you clearly have a business plan that gets you there. Even if it doesn't take 5 years, it may take seven, but you will eventually get to some part of it. But in sport, it's a lot tougher. I think it's gotten a lot better since the time I played 40 years ago.
Right.
And a lot more kids are actually getting into sport as a lifestyle and also as a profession. And they're starting to believe, like a startup, you don't have to be a doctor, a lawyer, or engineer, or I think you can go out there and actually do a startup and see how big it can get. And people are lot more people are doing that, and we have a lot more startups in our country than anywhere else in the world. So when you look at sport, I think that's starting to pick up, but not at the same rate. I think it's a great thing to think about, but the one thing that we must be sure of, pretty much sure of,
Right.
that we have not. I think the event itself, should we host it, will be fantastic, because when we do something, we do it so very well, and no country in the world can compare with our hospitality, our culture, our beauty, and the wow factor that India can provide. But the important thing is, and the very important thing is, that we got to make sure that we make the top three or top five in the medal count. Yes, well, it's a question of being able to invest, 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 and then have the kids who are capable of investing their own lives into it for the future, not just of themselves, but for the country. And if once they excel, they're the ones who are going to benefit. So the question is, you have to invest so much into it with no guarantees.
Right.
No guarantees at all. No assurances, no guarantees, no ROI. Hopefully, one or two will make it. So, and that's the risk. And that's what we have to stay focused on because there is no guarantee.
And do you think
Cricket is part of another sport. It's fine. It needs to be there. It's a driver of the economy in sport. Absolutely. I think it should continue to do that. I think there are enough sports around that that can actually benefit from it. Same thing. Not the question of popularity. It's a question of excellence.
right?
We have enough kids playing. The question is, how do we get into this excellent situation where you have to end up being in the top 100, top 50, top 20? Only then can we make the Davis Cup. Oh, just something which we enjoy doing
Right.
as it is in business. It's something that has always interested me and my family, and we've been, my sons and I are in it, and we'll continue to expand on it and do things in movies and television and short form documentaries and things like that we're looking at very clearly post COVID. Oh, it's like anything else. When you go somewhere, you need to start at the bottom.
Right.
You can't start at the top. So when you get there, you got to be able to play a role and then learn from it and then learn more from it and then slowly work your way up to be a star of your own show that you can write the check on. Oh, do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Don't think about it. Just if you want to do something, do it. Pursue it. Fall on your face and try again. And that'll happen constantly, pretty much in anything you do, especially when you go abroad.